Write this down. The power of management, the principle of management, the key of management. Tonight, I want us to focus on something that is so simple and yet so often ignored. I want us to focus on management. Not money, not miracles, not talent, not even prayer first. I said management, the principle of management and how it relates to your destiny, your future, and your purpose. Young people in this place, hear me carefully. If you are under the age of 25, this is a message you must build your life on, because the next 10 years will not be shaped by your passion, your dreams, or even your education, but by how you manage. If you are between 25 and 40, brace yourself, because the level of change that is coming into your life will demand management at a higher level. And if you are above 40, listen closely, because what you thought was already settled will be tested, and it is your ability to manage that will decide whether you break down or rise higher. Write this down. There are two powers in life that no man or woman can control. The first is time. The second is change. You cannot stop time and you cannot stop change. But hear me carefully. The two most difficult things to manage in life are also time and change. And here is the principle. The key to managing both of them is management itself. What is management? Let me give you a simple definition. Management is the effective, efficient, responsible use of resources to accomplish purpose. Management is not ownership. Management is not talent. Management is not prayer. Management is the discipline of handling what has been placed in your hands. Every day of your life is measured by these two forces, time and change. You are right now a product of how you managed your time and the changes you faced yesterday. And in 10 years, you will be nothing more than the outcome of how you manage your time and the changes you are going through today. Write this down. You are a product of management. Let me make life simple for you tonight. You are not the victim of the devil. You are not the victim of your parents. You are not the victim of your boss. You are the product of how you have managed what was given to you. That's it. The story of your life is the story of your management. That means the most dangerous prayer you could pray is, Lord, bless me. Because God will never give more to a man or woman who mismanages what they already have. You want more? Manage well. You want promotion? Manage what you have. You want financial increase? Manage the little you have now. You want a bigger assignment? Manage the small one you are holding. And let me shock you, this principle is so serious that God Himself will test you on it. Remember the parable of the talents? He didn't test them on how much they prayed. He didn't test them on how much they sang. He tested them on how they managed what was put in their hands. And the one who buried it, the one who mismanaged it, was called wicked and lazy. Not immoral, not evil, just wicked and lazy because he mismanaged. So tonight I want to introduce you to a dangerous truth. Heaven is watching your management. Heaven does not reward potential. Heaven does not reward prayer without discipline. Heaven rewards management. That's why you can pray all day and still be broke. You can speak in tongues for 8 hours and still be unemployed, because God does not bless prayer, He blesses management. Write this down. Management is the master key to promotion in the kingdom of God. And let me make this plain. Management is not about money. Some of you think money is your problem. Money is never the problem. Mismanagement is. That's why poor people who win the lottery end up broke again, because money doesn't make you rich. Management does. Money without management is destruction. So what is God testing you on right now? He is testing how you manage your life. He is testing how you manage your time. He is testing how you manage your body, your health, your gifts, your relationships, your job, your children, your opportunities. And based on how you manage, He decides if you qualify for more. Ladies and gentlemen, please hear me. God is not withholding blessings from you. God is protecting blessings from mismanagement. God will never give you what you are praying for until He sees you managing what you already have. The issue is not God's supply. The issue is your management. That's why Jesus said, if you are faithful with little, you will be made ruler over much. Faithful with little management, you are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you to manage what He already gave. So tonight, I want you to confront this question. What am I mismanaging? What area of my life is out of order? What gift have I buried? What time have I wasted? What relationship have I neglected? What resources have I abused? Because the truth is, until you manage, nothing changes. Write this down. Prayer does not replace management. Fasting does not replace management. Worship does not replace management. Management is irreplaceable. Now, let's go deeper. We said there are two forces in life you cannot control, time and change. But hear me carefully. You cannot control them, yet you must manage them. Time keeps moving whether you like it or not. Change keeps coming whether you are ready or not. You can't pray against time. You can't fast against change. They are unstoppable. So the real question of your life is this: how are you managing them? Write this down. Time and change are the raw materials of life. That means everything you will ever become, everything you will ever achieve will be built out of how you manage these two things. Time is a resource. Change is an opportunity. Together they form the building blocks of destiny. Every year, every month, every day that passes is God giving you a gift called time. And with that gift, He asks you to be a manager. The Bible says, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Why? Because your days are numbered. Your life is on a timer. You are not here forever. You don't have unlimited time to fulfill your purpose. That is why mismanagement of time is the greatest thief of destiny. Time wasted is life wasted. Write this down. The passing of time makes you accountable to God. Every year that ends, heaven asks, what did you do with it? What did you build? What did you learn? Who did you serve? How did you grow? And let me tell you the truth. You cannot mismanage a year and expect God to trust you with another. Yet out of His mercy, He gives us a new year. Not because we deserve it, but because He gives us another chance to manage better. Every new year is God's mercy in motion. Now listen carefully. Change is the second test of management. Change is constant. Nothing stays the same. You are not the same as last year. Your job is not the same. Your family is not the same. Your body is not the same. Seasons shift and you must adjust. Management is the ability to adapt to change without losing direction. Some of you are frustrated because you are trying to live today with yesterday's methods. You are stuck in a season that already passed. But hear me, what got you here will not get you there. Management requires flexibility. Management requires discernment. Management requires you to recognize change and adjust your actions to keep moving toward your purpose. Think of Joseph in Egypt. Seasons changed, famine came, but Joseph survived, not because he prayed more than others, but because he managed. He managed resources during plenty so he could survive the years of lack. That's management. And here is the danger. If you refuse to manage change, change will manage you. Some people are victims of change because they never prepared for it. They never saved. They never planned. They never adapted. And when change came, it crushed them. Write this down. Time and change are neutral, but management makes them serve you or destroy you. So tonight, I want you to see life differently. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming God. Stop blaming the devil. Your life is simply the result of how you are managing your time and your changes. 10 years from now, you will not become something by accident. You will become exactly what you manage. And let me make it plain, you are not too young to manage. If you are 15, start managing. If you are 25, learn management now. If you are 40, improve your management. If you are 60, don't waste the little time you have left. Management is the key at every stage. Write this down. The future belongs to managers, not to dreamers, not to talkers, not even to gifted people. The future belongs to those who can manage time, manage change, manage themselves, and manage resources. Let's talk about the passing of time. Job 14:5 says, a person's days are determined. You have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot exceed. That means your life is on a timer. You don't get to choose how long you live. God already decided your limits. Think about that. Every breath you take is one less than you have left. Every year that ends is one chapter closed in your book of life. And here is the most sobering truth. Time makes you accountable. You will stand before God one day and give an account, not of how much time you had, but of how you managed it. When you say Happy New Year to someone, you should stop and ask yourself, what did I do with the old one? Did I waste it on distractions? Did I spend it in gossip, in fear, in procrastination? Or did I manage it with purpose, with discipline, with vision? Write this down. You are not rewarded for the time you had, but for how you managed it. That's why some people live 30 years and leave more impact than others who live 90. Longevity does not equal legacy. Jesus lived only 33 years, yet he said, it is finished. Why? Because he managed his assignment within his time. He didn't die old, he died finished. Don't confuse being old with being blessed. Don't confuse survival with success. You are not here just to exist. You are here to complete an assignment within the time God gave you. And that brings us back to the principle. Management is the key to purpose. You cannot fulfill purpose without managing your time. You cannot make impact without managing your opportunities. You cannot complete your assignment without managing the changes life throws at you. Now hear this. The passing of time is not neutral. Time will either multiply your productivity or multiply your regrets. The clock is not your friend. The clock is your test. Every tick of the clock is God asking, what are you doing with my gift? This is why Paul said, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. He spoke like a manager closing his assignment, not just a man getting old. When your time runs out, will you be able to say, it is finished? Or will you only be able to say, I am finished? And let me warn you, being busy is not the same as being effective. Many people confuse activity with productivity. They fill their schedules but neglect their purpose. They work hard but manage poorly. Write this down. Management is not about doing many things, it's about doing the right things with the right time. So ask yourself, how many years have you already wasted? How many opportunities slipped through your hands because you didn't plan, didn't prepare, didn't manage? But here's the good news. God in His mercy gives us another year, another chance, another opportunity to manage better. That's why I love time. Because no matter how bad yesterday was, time pushes it into history. Failure becomes last year. Pain becomes yesterday. Time gives you a chance to reset, to start fresh, to manage differently, but only if you choose to. Write this down. Time is the currency of life, and management is the budgeting system. If you don't budget your time, someone else will spend it for you. And when your time is gone, you can't ask for a refund. And every new year is not just a celebration, it is an opportunity. It is God's way of giving you a clean page, a fresh chapter, a reset button. The calendar is not just dates, it is divine mercy. It is God saying, I will give you another cycle of time to manage better. Write this down. The future is not ahead of you. The future is inside of you. The new year does not change until you change. If you cross from December into January with the same habits, the same mindset, the same laziness, then nothing changes except the date. A new year only becomes new when you bring a new you into it. That means the most important preparation for a new season is not a party, not fireworks, not champagne. It is vision. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Vision is the ability to see beyond the calendar. Vision is the manager's tool for directing time toward purpose. Let me give you a secret. A new year demands a new plan. You cannot just hope your life improves. You must manage your time intentionally. Hoping is not a strategy. Faith is not laziness. Jesus said, which of you wanting to build a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost? That's planning. That's management. So as you enter a new year, here are the questions every manager of destiny must ask. What must I stop doing? What must I start doing? What must I continue doing? What must I do differently? Without these questions, the year will repeat the failures of the last. Write this down. Planning is faith in motion. If you believe God has a purpose for your life, then prove it by writing it down, scheduling it, and budgeting your time toward it. A dream without a plan is a wish, and a wish without discipline is a waste. That's why Ecclesiastes 3 says, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven. Notice, it doesn't say there is time for everything you want. It says there is time for everything with purpose. That means you must prioritize. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your calendar. This is where many fail. They allow distractions to become their schedule. They allow urgent things to destroy important things. Write this down. Management is the discipline of saying no to the wrong things so you can say yes to the right things. And let me remind you, every new year is a test of stewardship. God is watching how you handle the 365 days He puts in your hand. And remember, He does not give you another year because you deserve it. He gives it because He wants to see if you will manage it differently. A new year is not automatic success. It is a platform for stewardship. The question is, will you treat it as another routine or as a divine trust? If you waste a year, you waste a portion of your destiny. But if you manage a year, you multiply your future. So I challenge you, don't just wish for a happy new year. Decide to make it a managed year. Because happiness does not come by accident. It comes by management. Vision is the foundation of effective management. Without vision, time becomes wasted energy. Without vision, money becomes wasted spending. Without vision, life becomes motion without progress. Write this down. Vision gives time its value. The same 24 hours that makes one man a success makes another man a failure. The difference is not the clock, it is clarity. When you don't know where you're going, every road looks good and every invitation feels urgent. That's why some people are busy all day but never effective. Jesus lived only 33 years, but He fulfilled His assignment. Why? Because He was a master of focus. He said, I must be about my Father's business. That is vision. That is focus. That is management. Now hear this carefully. The greatest enemy of vision is not failure, it is distraction. Failure will teach you lessons, but distraction will steal your destiny silently. You can recover from failure, but you cannot recover wasted time. Write this down. Not everything good is right for you. The enemy of the best is not the worst. It is the good that is not aligned with your purpose. You must have the courage to say no to opportunities that don't serve your vision. Some doors are open, but they lead nowhere. Some invitations are flattering, but they are traps. Look at Nehemiah. He had a vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. His enemies tried to distract him, inviting him to meet in the plain of Ono. But Nehemiah said, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. That is the spirit of a manager. He understood that distraction is a strategy of the enemy. And if you fall for it, your vision dies. So let me ask you, what are your distractions? Is it television, social media, toxic relationships, endless entertainment? Write this down. What you call relaxation may actually be destruction. You are not managing your time. You are wasting it. Paul said in Philippians 3:13, this one thing I do. Not 10 things, not everything. This one thing. That's vision, that's focus. And that's why he could finish his race. Now let me give you a key. Vision must be written. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. Why must it be written? Because memory is weak. If your vision is not written, it will be forgotten, delayed, or stolen by distractions. Write this down. A written vision becomes a contract between you and your future. Every time you look at it, you remind yourself of where you are going. It disciplines your decisions, it organizes your energy, and it protects you from detours. And here is another principle. Vision requires strategy. It is not enough to dream, you must design. It is not enough to hope, you must plan. A vision without a strategy is a hallucination. So in this season of management, don't just pray for a better year. Don't just pray for increase. Write down your vision. Identify your distractions. Develop your strategy, because God is not obligated to fulfill what you never defined. Remember this, God will not complete what you did not begin. Vision without discipline is only imagination. Dreams without habits become nightmares. Goals without consistency remain wishes. Write this down. Discipline is the bridge between vision and manifestation. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to endure the discipline required for it. That's why Jesus said in Luke 9:23, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily and follow me. Notice the word daily. That is consistency. That is discipline. That is management. Let me put it this way. Your destiny is hidden in your daily routine. What you repeatedly do becomes what you ultimately become. You don't decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. And here's the problem. Many people pray for change but live with the same patterns. They want a new season, but they repeat the same schedule. They want abundance, but they keep practicing waste. Write this down. God does not bless prayers. He blesses discipline. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 9:27, I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. Even Paul, with all his anointing, understood that without discipline, purpose collapses. So let's get practical. What does discipline look like in management? Discipline in time, controlling your schedule instead of letting it control you. Discipline in money, budgeting, saving, investing, and tithing before spending. Discipline in relationships, surrounding yourself with people who sharpen you, not drain you. Discipline in words, speaking life, not negativity. Discipline in thoughts, focusing on truth, not fear. Write this down. Discipline is painful in the present, but powerful in the future. The lazy man enjoys comfort now, but suffers later. The disciplined man sacrifices now, but reigns later. That is why Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Consistency is the cousin of discipline. Anybody can do something once. True management is measured by repetition. Can you be faithful in small things every day? Jesus said, he who is faithful in little will be faithful in much. That means God promotes based on consistency, not emotion. Write this down. Greatness is not an event, it is a habit. Prayer is a habit. Excellence is a habit. Integrity is a habit. Productivity is a habit. If you want to transform your life, don't wait for a miracle. Change your habits. And here is the truth. Habits are stronger than inspiration. You may not always feel motivated, but if you build habits, your habits will carry you when your emotions fail you. That's why managers of destiny cannot live by feelings. They live by principles. So ask yourself, what habits must I break and what habits must I build? Because success is not what you do occasionally. It's what you do consistently. Faithfulness is the golden key of management. Without faithfulness, talent becomes wasted, opportunity becomes abused, and resources become lost. Write this down. God does not promote giftedness, He promotes faithfulness. Many people are gifted but still broke. Many are talented but still stuck. Why? Because talent without stewardship is disqualified. Jesus taught this in Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. He gave one man 5 talents, another 2, and another 1. Notice, he gave each according to their ability. Ability means capacity to manage. God will never give you what you pray for. He will only give you what you can manage. The one with 5 doubled it. The one with 2 doubled it. But the one with 1 buried it. And what did the master say? You wicked and lazy servant. Not wicked because of sin, but wicked because of waste. Heaven hates waste. Management is stewardship, and stewardship means adding value to what God has placed in your hands. Write this down. Faithfulness is proven in little things. If you cannot be trusted with someone else's vision, you cannot be trusted with your own. If you cannot be faithful with another man's property, God will not release yours. If you cannot honor small opportunities, you will never see great ones. Luke 16:10 says, "He who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much, and he who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much." That means promotion is not a mystery, it is the fruit of faithfulness. So here is the divine order of management. God tests you with little. God tests you with another man's property. God tests you with natural resources. And if you pass, He entrusts you with much, with your own and with spiritual riches. This is why some are stuck in cycles. They keep asking for increase while failing the test of faithfulness. You want a house, but you can't keep your rented apartment clean. You want a business, but you keep showing up late at your job. You want financial overflow, but you don't tithe or save. God says, if you can't manage what you already have, why would I give you more? Write this down. Promotion is not prayer. Promotion is stewardship. You don't pray your way into success, you manage your way into it. Prayer may open a door, but only management keeps it open. And here's the principle. Whatever you mismanage, you lose. Adam mismanaged the garden and he lost it. Israel mismanaged the promised land and they were exiled. Even Satan was given glory in heaven, but through mismanagement of pride, he lost his position. Management is not optional, it is eternal law. Faithfulness also means integrity. God watches what you do in secret. Are you diligent when no one is looking? Are you consistent when no one is applauding? Managers of destiny are not performers. They are stewards. They do it unto the Lord, not unto men. And here is the reward. Proverbs 28:20 says, "A faithful man will abound with blessings." Notice, it does not say a talented man or a lucky man. It says a faithful man. Faithfulness guarantees fruitfulness. So the question is not, do you have potential? The real question is, can you be trusted? Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this teaching to a close. We have walked through the principle of time, of change, and of management. And now the question is, what will you do with it? Write this down. Legacy is the ultimate fruit of management. Legacy is not what you leave for people. Legacy is what you leave in people. Money runs out, buildings crumble, possessions fade, but a well-managed life creates influence that outlives you. Think of Joseph in Egypt. He managed famine and prosperity so well that nations survived through his wisdom. Think of Daniel in Babylon. He managed his gift of interpretation with integrity until kings had to bow to his God. Think of Jesus Christ himself. In only 33 years, he managed his assignment so perfectly that he could declare, "It is finished." That's legacy. Write this down. Management turns purpose into impact. Purpose without management dies as potential. Management is the bridge between calling and completion. Every vision requires stewardship. Every dream requires discipline. This is why you cannot afford to waste another year. You cannot live casual anymore. You must become intentional. Life is not an experiment. It is an assignment. Every day is a page in the book of your destiny. Every decision is a seed in the field of your future. And every year is a chapter God gives you to prove your faithfulness. So here is the challenge. Manage your time, because wasted hours become wasted years. Manage your change, because seasons are gifts, not accidents. Manage your resources, because money, relationships, and opportunities are tests of trust. Manage your soul, because peace, joy, and faith must be cultivated daily. And here is the promise. If you manage well, God will increase you. Proverbs says, "The hand of the diligent makes rich." Jesus says, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with little. I will make you ruler over much." Management always produces multiplication. So as we step into a new season, I declare this over you. May this year be the year of wise stewardship. May this be the year you stop wasting and start building. May this be the year you align with heaven's system of promotion. And may this be the year your faithfulness unlocks abundance. Let us not leave here tonight with excitement only, but with a decision to plan, to prioritize, to steward, to manage, because your future, your family, and your legacy depend on it. Write this down as your final reminder. You are simply the sum of how you manage time, change, and opportunities. And the good news is you still have today. You still have time. You still have breath, which means you still have a chance to manage well. So rise up, plan, prepare, be faithful, and may your life echo for generations to come. Amen.